It looks like, wait, there was one more thing. Okay, good. I don't mean good, but it's just, I always hate to be the person that people are
Holding
sitting
things up,
around
yeah.
waiting on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not getting much clearer. Did you bump it or anything?
You asking me?
Yeah. Your camera is what I was talking about.
I didn't touch the camera, so I don't know what's going on. It looks
Because it's all out of focus all the way across, even your graphics. Before the graphics were fine, but
hey Griff, can you mess with that? I don't know what's going on. It looks okay on my side. Okay. Oh, all right.
need to log out and log back in, or
Could it be the Zoom? Is it okay on Zoom? Because that's the recording, right? Okay, yeah, it does. It's fine. That's weird. Okay, so you want me to
we could do
leave?
the same. So
Oh, you drive. Oh, sorry.
I take my headphones off for a second here.
You want me to put it in Slack or?
Recording in progress.
Looks better on my end.
Does that look better now?
you look great. You look great.
All right, thank you.
Not that you look bad to begin with. I mean, you look better. The quality of the camera is better. Damn thing. All right. Well, I'm good to go here. Barbara, Dave is good to go.
I'm ready.
I'll count us down in. Oops, I got too many computers open. Count us down in 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author, Barb Schlinker is also a pilot. Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, as always, great to be talking to you this weekend. Now, we air your real estate voice every Saturday. And remember that if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just go to any of the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, as well as others. You can search for Barb there. She's easy to find. Every week, your real estate voice covers great information about the housing market and one of most people's largest assets, the home. Barb, what are we covering today?
Well, Richard, I do research every week about what the market is doing. And then I also have my own business, and things are happening in my own business right now too. So I really feel like Colorado has a pretty strong real estate market overall. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, the interest rates are higher, but if the seller does everything right, prices it realistically, the house will sell and fairly quickly. It's the ones that are asking way too much, that's not realistic, they sit on the market. It's definitely not an on fire hot market like we saw a couple years ago, where pretty much everything went on the market and got bidding wars. That's not the case. But if somebody prices it right, I just had a bidding war last weekend, so it can still happen. And then the next topic we're going to talk about are the reasons why a house is not selling and what you can do to fix it. It will eventually happen if you respond to what the market is telling you. So I'll give you some ideas on how you can tell if you happen to be on the market right now, or how you can plan, because most people don't like the experience of showing their home. That is no fun. I just talked to a seller yesterday, and he goes, yeah, this is kind of wearing me out to have to clean up the house every day and keep it spotless for showings. It is a lot of work. Most people don't live like that. So we'll talk about some ways that you can end the pain much, much quicker. The third topic is about the expenses of selling. So I still meet with plenty of home sellers that have never sold a home before. So they have no idea what to expect. They just go, oh, Zillow it thinks my house is worth this. Therefore, that's what I'll put in my pocket after it sells. So we're going to talk about what are the typical selling costs when you sell a home. And that way you can kind of plan ahead for it, especially to be able to fund your next destination. And the very last topic really is about pricing and getting your home sold fast in this somewhat competitive real estate market here in Colorado. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, many people ask if they should wait until the rates drop to buy or to sell a house. Why is Colorado still considered to be such a competitive market?
Well, Richard, the rates have come down compared to maybe a month ago, about 0.5%. That's helpful all by itself. But at the end of the day, you can always refinance when the rates go down. I think based on the strength of the market right now, I really feel like whenever the rates do drop, like they're promising, maybe the Fed will drop it 0.5 point, and maybe by the beginning of next year, we might see interest rates with a 5 in front of it. That's going to really spark the market. There's a whole bunch of buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines just waiting for that to happen. So when that happens, what's going to happen is that there's going to be more competition for homes. More buyers are going to jump in the game. They're going to have less homes to choose from, and it will drive prices up. We've been relatively flat for the last couple of years, just really tiny price increases here and there, depending on the neighborhood. But what we're seeing as far as people coming into and going out of Colorado, in general, Los Angeles tops the list of people picking the Colorado Springs area as their destination, followed by Dallas, followed by Washington, D.C., then again in Texas and Houston, San Francisco, Virginia, New York, Sacramento, San Antonio, Texas, and Hawaii. But going outbound, surprisingly, a lot of people are going to other cities in Colorado, Breckenridge, Denver. There are also people going to Florida, Missouri, Tennessee, all the places you hear about all the time. Even Decatur, Florida. That's it. I can't read it. Anyway, even a couple of places in Florida where you know, a lot of people love Florida. A lot of people downsizing are looking at Florida pretty hard. They don't have any income taxes there. They're working on the insurance costs. So we still have a lot of people migrating out of Colorado to there. So on average right now, the typical amount of money that a seller is getting from list price to sales price, the difference is 1 to 2%. Average days on market, depending on what area you're in, ranges between 42 and 70 days. But the real hot homes, according to Redfin, actually are selling for 1% above asking price in a much quieter time, in about 21 days. So I like to look at statistical data. I know for some people it's boring, but some of the things I'm looking at are how many home sellers have lowered their price. There is a definite surge there, and that makes sense. There is 50% more homes on the market than there were 2 years ago, but with the same, roughly the same amount of sales. So obviously, if you reach too high on price, it's just not going to work. So all of the counties across the Front Range pretty much are indicating that anywhere from 40 to 55% of home sellers are lowering their price after they go on the market. But a really good predictive indicator is the number of pending sales. And those are actually kicking up a bit. So El Paso County is doing really well. Douglas County's kind of flat, and Pueblo and Teller are kind of steady growth. But the other thing I like to look at is what is the pending sale versus a median price. So I looked at this benchmark last week as compared to this week. And the difference is the lower prices are moving. But what was interesting to me, Richard, is yesterday I processed offers on 5 different properties. And the highest price point was at $875. And that one had a bidding war. So things are starting to kind of pick up right now. It's just what I'm feeling. But in general, the prices have dropped about 8,000 since July. And the people that win, not every house is selling, but the people that win are pricing their home what I call realistically versus optimistically. That's the best way to make it happen. And the rates have been, compared to last week, unchanged, but conventional is in the mid 6s now. The government loans, FHA, VA in the low 6s, and you can always refinance the government loans at almost no cost with no appraisal and no credit check. So if you are thinking of making a move and you're on the edge of qualifying, I wouldn't wait to find a home. Go find a home when there's lots of choices out there. So I think if you compare it to some of the areas like Florida, where their prices are cratering in especially in the hurricane-ridden areas, this is a pretty strong market. It's actually holding its own. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And what we're talking about is why the Colorado area real estate market is somewhat competitive now. And next up, we're going to talk about a few tips to get the most money when you sell. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. I have way over 28,250 buyers just on my little website. And things that you need to keep in mind when you're selling a home, there's a huge turnover in real estate agents. Most of the ones that I work with on the other side of the transaction appear to have other jobs because they never contact me until late at night or on the weekends, and everything's a real estate emergency. So it's about 87% turnover every 5 years. So there's a lot of real estate agents that have never seen a flat market. They've never seen a quiet market. They've only seen the boom. And a lot of them just don't know what to do, but we do. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
So, Barb, we're discussing whether or not Colorado home prices are dropping. What can home sellers do in this very competitive market to get their home sold at a reasonable price and on time and for the most money?
Well, Richard, don't expect a bidding war, but if you get one, it's the happy dance. I had one person recently that actually got an offer before we started showing, right when we started showing, and it turned out that the third offer was the best offer, but they didn't all come at once. So we still had to respond to them. But it's still, she was able to get her price. So it worked out really well. But at the end of the day, you want to prepare your home to attract the most amount of money. Unless you are way underpriced, buyers turn up their nose at deferred maintenance. Things like, oh, even popcorn ceilings, they make a big deal about these days. Carpet, cosmetic stuff, the front door, curb appeal, all those kind of things are really, really important unless the home is deeply, deeply discounted, because 41% of home buyers actually don't want to do any work. And if they can see in the pictures it needs work, they're moving on. That is absolutely your first showing. So make sure you hire an agent that knows how to present your home properly so that the photos, the pricing, everything online attracts buyers and does not repel buyers. We know how to do that. Give us a call at 719-301-3900. We can typically match about 800 buyers to any home. And give us a call and we can help you with that. 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She is your real estate voice. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the top reasons why a Colorado house is not selling and a checklist to fix that problem. Stay tuned for that. Wow. Ta-da, blaze through that one.
Ramble on too much.
Good job, Barbara. Let's see, stop. There we are.
I know the stats are boring. Try to make it.
But you know what? I think I think it might work better, of course, on your YouTube, but I think even when people are driving there, they can tell because you do a good job of talking about the stats going up or down or compared to where they were before. And I emphasize that sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, about how informed you are about the market, not just now, but before, but the ins and the outs. And I think when you talk about statistics like that, I think this average person who sells one home per year, they're not going to know that stuff. They're going to see if they can get a contract and then start listening to your podcast, go back for 4 or 5 podcasts and see if they can get up to speed. And I'm not kidding.
I think they check out once they get a contract. That's been my experience. They hand it off to a transaction coordinator and just wait for the check.
I have to tell you, I know what I do, how I work and all that kind of thing. If I were looking at some of the paydays that these people might be getting on their commissions, it wouldn't bother me to spend a little bit more time making that happen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I am ready. David, he's ready. How about you, Barb?
Ready to go.
We'll count it down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, as the selling season winds down, I would think that there are quite a few home sellers who have homes that did not sell. We saw that a while ago. What are the reasons they are not selling, and what can people do about that?
Well, Richard, I think that almost every home seller I speak with wants the most money, but how they approach getting the most money doesn't always work. And part of the reason is that the tech companies out there like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, that's where most of the buyers are searching. The buyers are getting really good information about everything around it, whether or not it's a good buy, and whether or not they want to go see it. So that's a big change from what it was back in before the internet was a thing, before Zillow was a thing, which to me didn't seem that long ago. In fact, I looked back on one of my listings and we're actually reselling it. I sold it over 20 years ago. We're reselling it here coming this fall. And looking at the pictures, I was like, oh, those are so bad. I think I only had 3 pictures. They were very granulated, but that was the market norm at the time. Actually, 3 pictures was probably an upgrade. A majority of the agents didn't have pictures at all. Most of them were difficult to find online. And so the buyers had to physically go look at houses. My personal record with one buyer is we physically went and looked at 127 houses. They finally bought the 127th. And that has completely changed. Most buyers are making a decision as to whether or not they're even going to go check out the home based on the online information. So that's your first showing is online. And if you don't get that right, buyers are moving on their phone. They just swipe on by. So it's absolutely critical that you get what I call the 4 P's right: preparing your home for sale, pricing it realistically versus optimistically, making sure whoever you hire is properly promoting the home, and of course, picking the right team to get it sold. Because some people aren't very good at marketing. I was just looking at pictures the other day on a property that had been languishing on the market for a while. And I'm like, wow, these photos, it's an easy fix to me. It looked like an easy fix, but I couldn't interfere with somebody else's listing. I just looked at it and went, well, there could be some improvement there, but that's why it's so important on who you hire to handle the sale. So you can also sell homes as is. I just sold one about a month ago that really needed quite a bit of work, but it was in a great location. The sellers decided we're going as is. We're going at a very aggressive price. We had a huge crowd at the open house. We had 4 buyers competing against each other, and we ended up getting $20,000 over the asking price. And had we asked that number out of the gate, we would have never gotten it, because they'd have picked it apart saying, well, it needs this, it needs that. It did need carpet. It did need some work on the siding. It had this and that had to be done. But we commanded the highest price. And actually the sellers did not take the highest number. There was another offer that was 20,000 above that, but they didn't take it because they didn't think it was going to close that soon. And they felt like they were going to get led into doing a bunch of repairs. Like the government loans have certain rules about the condition of the home. VA and FHA require certain things. So they are things like peeling paint on the outside, broken windows, missing outlet covers, missing stair rails. Sometimes the appraisers will ask for the covers on window wells to be covered in case a kid or a dog or something could fall inside those, or any safety or trip hazards around the home. So those are some of the things for government loans that had to be done. So this home really didn't qualify for a government loan as it stood. And that's why they decided to take the next best offer, which was a little bit less. So we are seeing a pretty good surge in pending sales. We're seeing a good surge in the number of available homes. So it was up by 25% from 23 to 24 and another 25% from 24 to 25. So that's good if you're a buyer, you have more choices to choose from, okay? But it's tougher if you are a seller because you have more houses to compete against. So when you have inventory right now, I was just talking to one of my clients the other night, and he goes, it seems to me it's about 4 months supply on the market. And I said, that's right. That means of the 4,000, as an example, the Pikes Peak region, 4,000 homes on the market. If we just went with those and didn't put anything else on the market, it would take 4 months to sell all of them. But it doesn't work in a bubble like that, unfortunately. And so pricing is probably one of the most critical factors that a home seller can decide on when they go on the market. If they overprice a home, what's going to happen is it's going to sit on the market, or the buyer, there'll be some light showings and the buyers will kind of pick it apart. Well, it needed this and it needed that. And it's really frustrating for a home seller, you know. So that's why pricing is absolutely critical. And, you know, I think that a lot of real estate agents do not really pay close attention to what's going on in the market. They don't really study what's going on. And they basically, especially if they work in buyers, you know, they let them in the house, they go in with them. If the buyer loves it, woohoo, okay, we're going to look at similar sales and maybe make an offer if the buyer wants to make an offer, if they have good closing skills. Sometimes they will keep showing them other homes and nothing happens. So in the last 5 years, we had this huge surge in prices, probably 2018, really 7 years until 2022, the middle of 2022, the prices were going up substantially. I would say we had values almost doubled during that time period. But when the rates went up, then the buyers couldn't afford the homes anymore, right? So ever since then, we've had just little ticks here and there of the pricing going up. But in general, it's been relatively flat on home values. So when you put your home on the market, if you don't get all these things just right, what I call the 4 Ps, pricing, preparation, promotion, and picking the right agent, you have less than a minute to make an impression with the buyer. And most of the buyers are looking at what's new on the market. They're always trying to consume data if they're actively searching. I think studies indicated a typical buyer will look at anywhere from 3 to 5 different websites because they don't think they're getting correct data on the ones that they're searching on. They won't necessarily just stick with one. And as a home seller, you've got less than a minute to make an impression with them. My colleague Jen, she calls it speed dating. That's basically all you have to make an impression. And if all the stars don't align at the right time, at the right price, the buyers will choose not to go. So that's one way you can tell that you overpriced your home. And I've worked with some corporate sellers in the past. I have one client right now, the asset management company for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And we've done quite a few listings over the years. And just talking to them, you know, they are top producing essentially because they're handling hundreds. Any one asset manager is probably handling hundreds of properties. They know exactly how to sell homes. And the first thing they do out of the gate is price it realistically. And if that doesn't work in 30 days, boom, they're going to lower the price. And then if we get a buyer that nibbles, I've had them say stuff like, don't let that buyer get away. Go back. Let's talk again. And I think that's kind of what you have to do in this market right now. So it's very, very important that you price your home realistically. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about the reasons why a house may not be selling. And when we come back, we're going to touch on a few things to make your home sell faster and for the most money. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing why a house may not be selling. So what are some things that home sellers should do to sell fast and, of course, for the most money?
Well, I would say you have to start with a selling strategy. Not every home seller wants to sell at the top of the market value. Some of them just want it done. Some of them are very focused. I ask them, what are they focused on? Are they focused on timing? Are they focused on getting the most money? Are they in a hurry? What is their ideal plan on what they're going to do when they sell the house? What is their destination? Do they have that destination? And so there are some people, I've had people walk into my office and go, hey, I need to sell my house. Let's do it fast. And we can make it happen. And that one never went on the market. We had multiple buyers bidding on it and he got top dollar, but we never went on the market. So that happens sometimes. But if you want full market value, guess what? The buyers are expecting it all. They will pick apart the dumbest things. Like I have one home, it just went under contract, but overall it's spectacular. The kitchen's remodeled, the flooring's great. The master bath is just stunning, really stunning condition, great location, but the carpet in the basement's a little bit old. So, okay. So one person rejected that house over a $2,000 repair. So if you could imagine, why would they turn their nose up when it's just a simple little thing that could make the difference of them having a great home and a great location at a great price? Why would they turn their nose up at that? So we see that a lot. Things like popcorn ceiling makes the buyers turn their head up. It just little stupid stuff. So you have to get everything ready if you're going to go for full market value. And it's absolutely critical to price it right. We'll go into a little bit more deep dive about pricing, but in general, one of the reasons why you can tell if a home is not going to sell is based on the activity. If you're getting offers, pretty much right out of the gate and good showing activity, chances are you're on target. Maybe that's not the right buyer, but you're on target, right? If you're getting very limited showings and no offers, you're off. You could be off by as much as 5% in this market, depending on the price range. And if you're getting showings, more frequent showings, but no offers, you're just a little bit off. It could be just a minor thing that it takes to improve it. So we know how to do that. And if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to talk to us about how to get top dollar for your home, we have a whole team of people that will help you do that. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We actually show up with a whole bunch of offers just to get you started. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we'll be discussing what are the expenses of actually selling a house here in Colorado. Barb knows, she'll share it with you. Well, we think Barb knows. I mean, there's never a freaking guarantee with that woman, but reset. There we are. All right. Here we are. You ready for your trip, Barb?
Everything always happens, the day you're going to
Yes, I
leave, or the
do.
day before you're going to leave. So no, not really, but we're driving down there, so it'll be fun.
How long is the drive?
I think we're going to Dallas. It's probably about 13 hours.
Do it in one drive?
No, we're going to stop in Amarillo,
Good. Good.
have
Good.
some Mexican food.
I love Amarillo.
Do you?
Those little towns like Lubbock and Amarillo and stuff. I mean, I guess I'm still mostly a small kid at heart. So Austin and Dallas and Houston and San Antonio, they're fun.
I love San Angelo.
San Angelo. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, I've been down there.
Where is that?
It's not.
West Texas.
West Texas. I love West Texas. Damn it. I think
Oil country.
I may end up in Texas before it's all said and done. I really believe that. Okay, I got a script in the meantime. I'm good, Barb. How about you?
I'm not going to follow the script, just so you know.
Okay.
I'll
I'll
just,
just be ready to go when you want me to go. Yeah.
I did 3 segments on pricing, so I'm going to have to ad lib on this one, but that's
All
okay.
right. Sounds good. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. I'm Richard Randall. Barb is the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the expert, Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations that they see on Zillow, or they talk to their neighbors about pricing to try to determine what their home is worth. But how does a home seller decide what price to set when they're selling their home? And how do they know how much they'll put into their pocket when it does sell?
Well, I mean, the magic words for a home seller is, hey, I have an offer for you, right? They're very happy to hear that, right? But, the obvious question is how much, and is the seller willing to accept it? And some reject and some say yes, and some work a deal. It just kind of depends. But at the end of the day, most people have kind of a plan in mind of what they plan to do with their net proceeds when they sell. But you can't really plan it that way. You can't say, okay, I want to go buy in this other state where the houses are more expensive. So therefore, my house must sell for X. I wish it worked that way. But the truth is, the house is going to sell for whatever the market value is at the time. That's just how it works. So pricing a home correctly could mean the difference between you getting the most money or not getting an offer at all. It's absolutely the key thing that you have to do when you get your house ready for sale. And you can kind of anticipate what the selling expenses are going to be based on pricing. And so when we work with sellers, we actually sit down and show it to them, because most people don't do this every day. They go up on Zillow and go, oh, Zillow says my home is worth this much. And just so you know, Zillow was buying homes during the boom in 2021, and they were overpaying. I remember meeting with sellers and they said, oh, Zillow offered me this much. And I knew the market would not command that much, even in a hot market. And I looked at them and said, you should take it. That's a good deal. Just take that offer and go. And so Zillow went on to lose $1 billion overpaying for homes. So what did they base those prices on? They based it on their little Zestimate, their algorithm of what homes are worth. And it's not very accurate. Sometimes you can see a swing as much as anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 of what a home might be worth based on different automated value opinions. But in general, if the home is pretty and it's priced right, even now, even today, it could sell with a bidding war. If it needs some minor updating and it's priced right, it will sell. I had a bidding war recently on a home that needed a little bit of work. However, they priced it very realistically and had a bidding war. If it's overpriced, people won't even come look at it. That's just how the system works right now. So a lot of people want the most money, but if the ones that really focus in on pricing it very realistically, like we were just talking recently about one of our clients that when we first met, we suggested these, actually 2 of our clients, we first met, we suggested these numbers and they're like, no, I want more. I want more. So we go on the market with the I want more number. And guess what happens? We get showings, we get, the buyers kind of chirping like little birds. Well, I don't like this. I don't like that. It needs this. Even though, the market stats indicated it could sell for that much. So in general, the market's going to tell you right away. If you're getting activity, like I had one last weekend, as soon as we went on the market, showing after showing after showing, and I was able to get a couple of offers and have the 2 buyers compete against each other to get what the seller wanted. That doesn't happen very often unless all the stars align. Pricing, preparation, picking the right team, and making sure it's marketed properly. So pricing is a really, really critical factor. But in general, the selling expenses to sell a house in Colorado would be the biggest expense, of course, is paying off your mortgage if you have a mortgage, followed by commission, followed by title insurance, followed by settling up property taxes. Pretty much most sales, you don't have to worry about paying what they call capital gain. A lot of people still ask me about that. They actually changed the law back in, I think it was 1998. It used to be that when you sold a home, you had to take all your net proceeds and roll it into your next home, and you had to buy a more expensive home to avoid paying capital gains tax on the gain. However, that's gone. In 1998, they changed it and they said, if you're married, you could profit as much as $500,000 tax-free. So if you sold your house and you profited tax-free, let me say that again. If you sold your house and you profited 500,000, you could take 500,000, go to Vegas and gamble it away, and you would not pay a penny in taxes on that money. Hopefully you won't do that, right? Most people either invest it or they put it into their next home or something like that. So, but you don't have to. If you're not married, then you can profit as much as 250,000. And as long as I've been doing this, as many sales as I've been doing, very rarely do I have to see home sellers worry about capital gains unless it's an investment property. So if you're an out-of-state investor, the state will collect an additional 2%, okay? And you're going to have to file a tax return with the state that next year to see if you owe any capital gain taxes with the state of Colorado. If you're an out-of-country investor, they will hold back 20% and make sure you pay your taxes before they let you have all of your net proceeds. That's kind of a rare thing, actually. But at the end of the day, the typical thing that you can expect are commission, taxes, title. A lot of people kind of grit their teeth at this one, but most HOAs charge a status letter transfer fee. It could range between $400 and $1,000. People don't like HOAs anyway, so they kind of grumble about that. But in general, you know, if you could just kind of average the number, it's going to be about 6 to 8% of the sales price is going to come out at closing. I would say probably 2 out of 3 buyers right now are asking the seller to pay some of their closing costs. Now, most sellers don't like that. They just don't like it. And I understand. The seller is paying their own closing costs by paying commission, right? Why would they have to pay the buyer's closing costs? It's just a negotiable thing. If the average list price to sales price right now is pushing 3%, 2 of those percentage points are probably going to get requested by the buyer that the seller pay their loan closing costs so they can use that money. Typically, it's about 2% of a loan amount in order to pay for loan closing costs. But in addition to do that, they may use some of those funds to buy down their interest rate to make the payment more affordable. So you really don't have to worry about capital gains that much on the sale of a property. The federal taxes are very rare. A lot of people are worried that their profit and their taxes are going to get taken out at closing, but it doesn't happen. It's the year after you sell. So people that own rental properties kind of typically will sell 1 rental property a year. So because they are going to have to pay taxes on the gain. And that's a whole nother math problem. We could spend a whole segment just on that. But it's really, really important that you pick the right agent that understands pricing, understands net sheets. And there are nobody likes surprises. The last thing you want at the finish line when you're planning on using that money for your next purchase or whatever you're doing at your destination are surprises at closing. That's why we give a very detailed net sheet for every seller all along the way. We start with what we anticipate it will sell with. We also use that when we get an offer to let them know, you know, as offered and as countered, what can they expect to put in their pocket? That way, when they actually get to closing, they're not surprised. It is as expected, and they can plan ahead based on that. And really right now, with more and more home sellers, probably about 55% is the number, reducing their price, it is absolutely critical that you get that home priced right out of the gate. And I see requests for concessions all the time, lower price, closing cost, all kinds of things. So not all real estate agents have the experience to understand that, or the repeat sales to see what's going on in the market. And we do that. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can listen to replays of the show anytime on all of the major podcast platforms, plus Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com. Just look for Barb Schlinker. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb Schlinker, 719-301-3900. Barb, what are some of those other things to consider about expenses when you're selling a house?
Well, one thing that a lot of home sellers don't really factor in are repairs. Repairs can happen and they can get really expensive, especially if you're dealing with things like if you have to repair a sewer line or replace a roof. The insurance companies are very resistant on being willing to supply funds for roof replacement right now. And so that's something that you really want to get ahead of and make sure that you've got a good team on your side and you've got good estimates and bids. So I usually recommend to sellers, hey, plan ahead for those things. Have your roof checked out. The roofers that we recommend will come out and do a roof check for free. I would also check your sewer line. Most people tell me they don't ever check their sewer line unless there's a backup, right? So if it works, they don't even care about it, but there could be fractures. Just a few weeks ago, the sewer line was fine, but the clean out part was fractured. And the first bid we got was $4,200. The second bid we got was $650. Which one would you take if you're a seller? It's always better to have, time to work these things out and plan ahead. Otherwise, you're kind of scrambling at the same time you're moving, you're worrying about your contract falling apart. If you can get ahead of this, that's the best thing to do. And what we do is what we call a certified pre-owned home program, where we actually help home sellers get all those things out of the way. That way they're completely comfortable going on the market. They know exactly what they're going to have to deal with in terms of repairs. And just so you know, I have had one or two houses that had multiple contracts years ago, like 4 different contracts for various reasons. And every one of those inspections, they ask for different things. So, but if you pre-inspect and you say, nope, I trust this inspector, this is legit, I don't care what your inspector says, we will honor these things. And the answer is no to the rest, because sometimes the inspectors are not accurate. I will just say that. Or they don't understand systems, or they ask for ridiculous upgrades. And you have to be prepared for that when it comes up on an inspection, and we can help you do that. So just give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. She's the host of the program. And if you are thinking of selling your home, you want to get in touch with her because you want the most amount of money, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Barbara will be talking about how to sell a home fast in this competitive Colorado real estate market. Plus, Barb will have her hot new listings. Stay tuned for that. Wow, for an ad lib, why do you waste all this time writing scripts and doing all this stuff, Barb? I'm kind of kidding. That was very good.
Thank you. I mean, I think I covered 2 slides in there.
Yeah, but you know what? People in the car don't see the slides, so I think.
Right.
I think
like, what is she talking about?
All right.
This one's about pricing too, but I'm not gonna cover it. I'm gonna ad lib here too.
All right. Which I honestly have to say, if that makes it easier for you to get on the road, I'm all for it, because all I know is what I listened to just now sounded fine. And I'm sure what I'm about to listen to, excuse me, will as well. Count us down in three. Wait, let me get my clock here. I almost forgot. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. I'm Richard Randall. Barb is the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with the expert, Barb Schlinker, owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations like Zillow, or they just talk to their neighbors and try to determine what the best price for their home is. Not very scientific, especially now that it's taking longer to sell a home. How does a home seller know what their home is worth, and what do you do to make it sell faster on the market?
Well, Richard, if they listen to us, usually they have success. Everybody wants the most money. It's about supply and demand and pricing. Both of those things are absolutely critical. So what we've seen since 2023 is 2023 to 2024, inventory went up 25%. So we went from 2,000 homes to 3,000 homes. Now, 2024 to 2025, we're over 4,000 homes on the market. So we've got double the inventory essentially in just 2 years, but the same amount of sales. So guess what? It's a supply and demand equation. If you have too many homes and the same amount of sales, it's either going to have downward pressure on the prices, or things are going to sit on the market longer, and eventually they'll get it and they'll lower the price. So the market's going to speak back to you if you're already on the market. Buyers right now are pickier than ever. They all want HGTV for a low price, right? And that's not realistic. So we have plenty of solutions for home sellers, though. We show up with anywhere from 6 to 10 really good, some of them are full market value offers on your home before we even get started. So it gives you an opportunity to choose that. Or go on the open market and see if you can get more that way. There's always that option. The market will tell you when you go on the market if you got it wrong. If you're getting offers, you nailed it. You're right on target. If you're getting some showings but no offers, you're kind of close. And I've noticed lately, it seems like properties are slower to launch. Like, I'm used to going on the market and having huge crowds out of the gate, and then it starts to trickle down. But what I'm seeing right now is not very huge crowds out of the gate, but we are getting offers on those properties. So that tells me they are priced right. It's just taking a little bit more time for the market to figure it out because they have more choices to choose from. At least that's what I believe is going on. So with us, you have choices. You have to go in the open market and do the typical dance of letting people look at your home, and people are going to criticize it. People are going to, sometimes say things that aren't polite. That's why I always filter the feedback. We have an automated system that the agents can give feedback. And some of these agents are a bit snarky for no apparent reason. I don't know why. So I won't share that with the seller because it's not productive. If they give productive feedback, that's a different story. Like, I had one client that plugged in those air fresheners, the ones that you can get in the grocery store. Are you familiar with those, Richard? Well, they are very strong, right? And if you leave them in a house and they're just, taking up the airspace, essentially, they can be overwhelming. I remember years ago, I was showing my sister-in-law, she's highly sensitive. Like, she'll go into anaphylactic shock if there's any of those kind of air fresheners plugged into the wall. Even candles will do that to her. So every house I had to show, I had to go in and do my little bloodhound nose recon before she came in. So some people are uber sensitive to it and they can't handle it, and they won't even look at the house. They walk in. I had a broker tell me once, and I thought it was really cute. He goes, "If you can smell it, you can't sell it," which was funny, but it's true. If you have any kind of odors, pet odors, cooking odors, fragrance odors, it's a problem. You just want clean and fresh, and that's it. Even when people put a new carpet, sometimes that's a problem. So You can't be cooking really heavy smells. Don't use curry. That's a very strong smell. Don't use garlic. Don't be cooking fish with garlic the day that you're showing. That's a big mistake. So it just, those kind of things you have to think about, even though that might be your normal lifestyle, because people are going to come in. They need to, it's not just a visual experience, it's everything. It's the whole thing. I had recently, I got feedback that the buyer wouldn't even look at the house because the neighbor's dog was barking. I mean, is that crazy? So they're just so picky at this point. And I think that in order for all the stars to align, for the buyers to say, yes, I want to buy this home, right? You have to make sure you're very, very careful about how you present the home to the market. Another issue that we have sometimes is that the agents that are doing the showing may not be aware of what the value is for that particular home, and their selling skills aren't really up. So I get this all the time where they say, oh, well, my buyer really loves the home, but you know, they're going to stand by. And then 2 weeks go by and somebody else gets the house, right? And then they come back to me and go, oh, well, my buyer liked that house. And I'm like, where have you been? You know, and it doesn't matter if it's been on the market for 2 weeks or 6 months. It seems to be Murphy's Law that if, and it's a good Murphy, if one buyer likes the home, another one's going to step in at the same time. And you could be facing a bidding war, even with long days on the market. So pricing is critical. Pricing it realistically versus optimistically is absolutely critical. That's one way to sell it fast. Make sure you are objectively looking at similar sales when you establish pricing, because some people go, well, that home doesn't have a big yard, right? Okay. I don't know that everybody wants a big yard. That may not be a huge value driver. But in general, buyers just want to move in, drop their stuff, and get on with their life. They don't want to have to do any work. They don't want to do any rehab. And if it's priced right, and if it's a pretty house, they are expecting the whole package. And so that's one of the things that we can help you do to sell it faster. Sometimes little stuff will make the buyer eliminate the home online. Photos can make a buyer eliminate a home online. And then when they get to the house, they're going to try to find other ways to eliminate the home. Like some of the weird feedback I'm getting is, well, this room wasn't big enough. And it's like, really? I mean, did they really find another house that was better? Probably not in that neighborhood. I don't know. Or maybe they're just not ready yet and they're using some excuse for feedback. So you can't always really dial into the feedback. But when you do get a buyer that makes an offer, guess what? They're in love. Okay, work with them. Don't shoot them. Like I have some people that will say, well, I'm not even going to counter that offer because it came in too low. Okay, don't do that. That is major rejection. I just closed a sale, and thank God this buyer was absolutely determined to get this home, because they came in low. The seller rejected them, which that was against my advice, right? Sometimes just that little thing of rejecting an offer, they kind of retreat and they won't come back, right? So I don't care if they made a ridiculously low offer. Go ahead and counter them, right? You never know what somebody's really willing to pay. And a lot of times, and they're not everybody is trained on negotiations. Not every agent is up to speed on what's going on in the market. So it may be very natural for them to say, oh, sure, just offer way low and see what happens. And if the buyer gets shot down, they sometimes won't come back again. But the seller's assuming they are going to come back again. So I would always counter and try to bring them into the fold. Don't let the buyer get away, especially in this market. It's not going to be a bidding war market, not commonly, although I had one last weekend. But it's really important that you pick the right agent that helps you understand how to get all these things right so you can sell your house fast and for the most amount of money. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And you can listen to replays of the show anytime you'd like on all of the major podcast platforms. Plus, you'll find Barb on YouTube as well. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900. Barb, what are some of those other magic bullets on pricing your home to get the very top dollar? Or did you want to go straight to hot new listings?
Let's do hot new listings.
Okay, because it'll
I
give you
think
more time.
I
Yeah.
beat that topic to death.
Well, and this because a lot of times you have to rush through it so much.
Yeah.
I'll do that again. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. If you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most amount of money, of course, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, every week you've got hot new listings. Some of these are just awesome. Tell us about them.
Well, I have a beautiful home on Camfield Circle, 8230, priced at $439,999. Gleaming floors, great backs to open space, really lovely home. We have a really cool investment property on Carr Avenue up in Cripple Creek at 292. Great house in Woodland Park, has almost an acre at 299 with gorgeous views. A home that's owned by the VA on Rancher Drive down in Fountain in the low threes. Couple of really cool properties out on Rush Road, one at 374,999, backs to open space, lots of added parking and garages with acreage. And then there's another one right next door that actually has 9 acres and lots of garage and parking at 464 on Rush Road. Beautiful home on Tower Road. This home was half the home was used for Airbnb and was actually commanding over $15,000 a year in rental, priced at $499. An amazing home down in Pueblo in the very prestigious Walking Stick neighborhood, priced at $565. Gorgeous ranch with a full finished basement. Great home on Beckett Drive at $695, almost 4,000 square feet. Really, really popular neighborhood in very popular Academy District 12. Might have to fix that one, DJ.
20.
Fantastic patio home, 2411 Spanish Oak Terrace, priced at $735. Backs to a golf course. This home is amazing. Updated kitchen, 2 bedrooms and 2 full baths on the main level, plus a full finished basement with 3 more bedrooms, perfect for guest, price at $735. Great home in Briargate on Zurich Drive at $454,999. Amazing home on 1240 Big Valley Drive at $699 over in the northwest part of town. Another Broadmoor area home on Broadmoor Bluffs, 5081. Brand new carpet, backs to NORAD, very quiet, beautiful lot, $684,999. An amazing home just went on the market down in Canyon City. This spectacular, very custom Adobe home priced at $1,250,000. And it's amazing. And they have a pet turtle, which is really cool, that walks around the front yard. An amazing home on Clovis Way, priced at $875 up in Black Forest. Spectacular views. This home has a barn and it has an equestrian area that you can walk your horses back there if you want. Spectacular home on Open Sky Way in prestigious High Forest Ranch at $2,095,000, and an amazing lot on Hidden Valley over by Lake George, just priced at $35,000. So we also have some coming soon properties. One of them near the Paseo area coming up, priced in the low threes, and an awesome home in Falcon Estates on 1 acre. So if you want to find out about all those properties, go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker, host of the program. She is your real estate voice, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, of course, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. That'll do it for this week, Barb. So great talking to you. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Have a safe trip. I never say that because I don't want to ever give people the idea that somebody might be out of town. So
I'm excited. I behaved this time.
Also, Academy is District 20, if you want to correct
Oh,
that.
do you want to put that, say that
Oh,
again? Because
No, it's
You said District 2. so,
12.
Huh?
It's 12. What did I say?
Academy is District 20.
Okay, let me just record that.
Okay.
Okay. In the prestigious Cheyenne Mountain School District 12.
Okay.
and that is correct
Yeah.
because my two prestigious children graduated from there.
Very good schools.
Very good. They were punk enough to change the name from Indians because, oh, that wasn't politically correct. All right. So why Colorado is a somewhat competitive market. Top reasons a house is not selling, what you can do to fix that, expenses of selling a house, or how to sell a house fast.
Maybe top reason it's not selling.
All right. Sounds good. We'll go in. Headphones are up. 3, 2, 1. Whoa, hold on. That's not right. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, airs every Saturday from 11 until noon, right after Kudlow, here on 740 KVOR. This weekend, Barb will be talking about the top reasons that a house is not selling and what you can do to fix that.